So today we're going to cover section 4. We're going to cover section 4, which is the triangle mid-segment theorem, and we're going to learn about triangle mid-segments. So first thing we're going to do is define what a mid-segment is. So a mid-segment is going to be the segment that connects the midpoints of two sides of the triangle. So in this figure here, points M, P, and N, these are all going to be midpoints. And notice once we find the midpoint of a side, for example, M and P, we're going to connect those midpoints and we're going to form a mid-segment. Every triangle is going to have 3 mid-segments. So if I find my third midpoint over here, N, I can also connect M and N and form a mid-segment, as well as N and P and form a mid-segment here. Once we form these 3 mid-segments, it forms what's called as a mid-segment triangle. So we have this mid-segment triangle that's here in the middle in purple. And it's formed by the 3 mid-segments of our triangle. Let's learn what the mid-segment theorem is, and that's going to tell us about the length of the mid-segment. So the mid-segment theorem is going to talk about the length of the mid-segment and the side of the triangle that it's parallel to. So this segment connecting the midpoints of 2 sides of the triangle is going to be parallel to the third side. And the length of that mid-segment is going to be half as long as the side of the triangle that it's parallel to. So in this figure here, DE is a mid-segment of triangle ABC. I can see that DE is parallel to AC because it's got these little arrows on the 2 segments. Remember, those arrows are indicating that those lines are parallel, not that they're congruent. And one thing that I can tell that D is the mid-segment is because of the congruency marks here. Because DE is the midpoint, because it's splitting AB into 2 congruent pieces, AD is congruent to DB, I know that D is a midpoint. I also know that E is a midpoint because, again, of the congruency marks here. And because DE is a mid-segment, the length of DE is going to be half of the length of the side of the triangle that it's parallel to. Now, I could also rewrite this same equation here, this DE equals 1/2 AC. Also think of it as 2 times DE is equal to the length of AC. So pretty much all we're going to be doing in this lesson is going to be multiplying and dividing by 2 to figure out the missing pieces. Unless they're asking you to find a piece of the side of the triangle that has been split into 2 congruent pieces. So let's go ahead and let's just do 3 examples and then we're done with this lesson. So let's look at our first example. This one is telling us that triangles are used for strength in roof trusses. In the diagram here, UV and VW are mid-segments of triangle SRT. So I'm going to go ahead and outline triangle SRT in blue here. So S to R to T. Here is the triangle they're referring to. And they're also telling us that in the picture here, UV is a mid-segment and so is VW. It wants me to find the length of UV and of RS. So let's work with the purple one first. I know that since UV is a mid-segment, I know it's parallel to this side of the triangle. And if this side of the triangle is 90 inches, then I know the length of that mid-segment is going to be half of that. So all I have to do is divide 90 by 2 to get the length of UV. Now, if you wanted to show it with the letters and what you're doing here, I know that since they gave me RS, or RT, sorry, they gave me RT, and I know the length of RT, half of RT is equal to UV. So since RT is 90, all I have to do is multiply it by 1/2, or again, you can think of it as divide by 2. So half of 90 is 45. So the length of UV is 45. Now remember, you can also have written UV is really the same thing as VU. Remember, for segments, you can reverse the letters. So just be aware of mid-segment UV or VU is equal to 45. Now let's work on finding the length of RS. RS is the whole side of the triangle there. And the mid-segment that it's parallel to is the VW. So these are parallel. So since VW is a mid-segment, I know if I double that, it'll give me the length of the side of the triangle. So if I do 2 times VW, it's going to equal RS. VW, they told me, is 57 inches. So 2 times 57 is going to give me the length of RS. 2 times 57 is 114. And again, remember that RS, you could also reverse the letters. And these are both in inches. These are lengths of the side of the triangle in the case of the RS, and then the 45 inches is the length of the mid-segment. All right, so for the next example, it's actually 3 problems in one, and it was a table. If you look really closely, you can see the black outline of the table. I'm going to go ahead and outline the table so we can see each individual little box here. So the table, let me outline everything. So we're going to treat this as 3 different problems, and we're going to work across the row. So we're going to do all of row A, then all of row B, and then all of row C. And each time I'm going to use the picture to the left. Okay, so again, we're going to treat this as 3 problems. And basically all we're doing here, depending on the given, is either we're going to times it by 2 or divide it by 2. So the first thing I'm going to work across is row A. I'm going to label my picture each time. So I'm going to do all of the boxes that are across in row A, and then I'm going to go down to row B. So let's do row A first. The first piece of given was the length of AB, and they told me it was 12. So I'm going to come over here. AB has a length of 12. Now I know that its corresponding mid-segment, the line that it's parallel to, is RT. So if the side of the triangle is 12, to get the length of the mid-segment, all I have to do is divide that by 2, and the length of RT is going to be 6. And that's what I'll put in the box here. Next piece of given is the length of BC. BC is also the length of the side of the triangle. And if that is 14, then its corresponding mid-segment that it's parallel to is RS. All I have to do is take the length of the side of the triangle, divide it by 2, and the length of RS is 7. My next piece of given information is AC. AC is over here, and it has a length of 18, and its parallel mid-segment is ST. All I have to do is take the 18, divide it by 2, and the length of ST is 9. Now, I'm using the same picture, but now the lengths of the sides and the mid-segment are going to be different, so I'm going to erase what's on the triangle. All right, so let me erase. So now I'm going to work across row B. The first piece of given information here is the length of BC. And BC here is going to match with the RS. So here's BC, and it matches with RS. They're telling me BC is 14. So then that's going to, no, BC is 15, sorry. BC is 15. And then to find the length of RS, I'm going to divide it by 2. 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. Now to find the next piece of given was AC. And AC is going to go with ST. If AC is 22, then I know ST is going to be 11. Now my next piece of given information is a mid-segment length, and that was RT. And they told me it's 10. So now to find the length of the side of the triangle, I've got to double that mid-segment length, and AB is going to be 20. Now I'm going to move down to row C. And again, I'm going to erase my colors on my triangle and start all over again with new lengths. Okay, so now start over. So now my first given that I come to is the length of AB. So AB is over here. And they're telling me it's a 10. So the mid-segment that it's parallel to is RT. So I take the side of the triangle, divide it by 2, and that has a length of 5. My next given information in the table is the length of ST. ST is also a mid-segment. They're telling me it's 9. So to find the length of the side of the triangle that it's parallel to will be AC, double it, and it's 18. My next piece of given information is the length of RS. And if RS is 7.8, then the side of the triangle it's parallel to, that third side, I have to double 7.8. So I'll times it by 2 or add it to itself, either way. And I get 15.6 for the length of BC. All right, example 3. This time we've got expressions for our mid-segment and the side of the triangle. So here it says to use triangle GHJ, where A, B, and C are all midpoints of the sides. It says if GH, so this side of the triangle here, is equal to 7x minus 1, and if BC, the mid-segment here, if this one's equal to 4x minus 3, what is the length of GH? So I need to figure out the relationship here of the sides. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show that GH is really equal to 2 times BC. I could also have done GH divide by 2 or times a half, but it's easier to distribute a 2 to the BC. So GH is 7x minus 1. BC is 4x minus 3. I'm going to distribute the 2. I get 8x minus 6. Let me drop down the left side. And now I need to solve for x. And then once I get x, I got to plug it back in. I can move my x's either left or right. I'll go ahead and move it to the left. I know I'm going to get a -1, but that's okay. -1x minus 1 equals -6. Add 1. -1x equals -5. I'm going to divide both sides by -1. So I don't want a -1x. So x equals 5. Now to find the length of GH, GH was 7x minus 1. I'm going to replace x with 5. I'm going to multiply. I'm going to subtract. And the length of GH is equal to 34. And that is it for the notes for the mid-segment.